Let's begin today's case at a scene nearly all of us have visited, the checkout counter of a massive fast food chain. You hold a $2 burger, a side of crispy golden fries, and an extra-large soda. You look around at the long line of customers, gaze up at the flashing neon signs planted on the most expensive prime real estate in the world, and tell yourself, man, this machine is printing billions of dollars by selling millions of cheap meals every day. But hold on a second. Financial reports across the F&B industry reveal a stark reality. Raw ingredient costs take up roughly 30%, labor costs for flipping burgers and frying fries swallow another 30%, plus utilities, rent, and equipment wear and tear. The net profit margin on a cheap meal often hovers between a razor-thin 3% to 8%. In other words, on a $2 burger, they only pocket a few pennies in profit. If they were living off the sweat of low-margin burgers alone, how could fast food conglomerates amass hundreds of billions of dollars in assets, survive relentless inflation spikes, and operate tens of thousands of locations worldwide? You see a convenience restaurant chain serving cheap meals. You think they make money off your stomach. But a financial detective doesn't look at the fryer or the sizzling patty. We look at the legal contracts and the cash flow diagram. But if you follow the money, the truth is entirely different. Clue number one lies in the true nature of the menu. Selling cooked food is one of the most brutal businesses on earth. Food spoilage risks, fluctuating raw ingredient prices, and rising labor costs stand ready to crush traditional restaurants at any moment. So why do fast food chains sell meals practically for dirt cheap? According to industry economic analysis, that $1 to $2 burger isn't where the money is made. Financially speaking, it's a loss leader. Its sole purpose is to drive foot traffic through the front door. Real food profits only kick in with the add-ons, carbonated sodas and French fries, where profit margins can soar up to 70 to 80%, thanks to dirt cheap syrup and raw potatoes. Yet even after adding soda sales, retail food cash flow is far too tiny to sustain a global empire. Which brings us to the real question: where is the money actually coming from? Following the public financial disclosures of the world's largest fast food conglomerate, a financial detective uncovers a curious line item taking up a massive share of total revenue: rental income. This is the hidden layer buried beneath the smell of grilled beef. The parent company of a fast food giant doesn't actually operate restaurants. They act as a master landlord. Their financial strategy operates in three precise steps. First, the parent company uses its massive capital and high credit rating to buy up prime corner lots, or lease them on 30 to 50-year long-term contracts at rock-bottom wholesale prices. Second, they construct standardized restaurant buildings on those lots. Third, they sublease the land and building back to the franchisee at a 40 to 70% markup above market value, or force a percentage cut of gross sales. Whether the franchise owner turns a profit or takes a loss, whether beef prices rise or plummet, the franchisee must pay their fixed rent to the parent company on the first of every month. You think they're selling fast food? No. They are collecting commercial real estate rent. Clue number three lies within the franchise agreement, a masterpiece of financial engineering. When an individual investor wants to open a fast food branch, they must pay an upfront franchise fee, tens of thousands of dollars in cold hard cash just to use the logo. Then comes the recurring royalty fee, typically ranging from 4% to 5% of gross sales, not net profit. Notice the phrase gross sales. If a location generates $100,000 a month, the parent company skims $5,000 off the top immediately. Ingredient costs skyrocket, the franchisee absorbs it. Workers demand higher wages, the franchise bears it. The store loses money at the end of the month, the parent company still pockets their full $5,000. The parent company pushes all operational risk, inflation risk, and labor risk onto individual franchisees while holding on to a pure, risk-free stream of commission. And if you think franchisees can at least buy their meat, potatoes, or fryers on the open market to save money, think again. Tracing supply contract terms reveals a strict mandate. Franchisees are obligated to purchase 100% of their ingredients, packaging, uniforms, and even ice cream machines from suppliers specified by the parent company. The parent company buys millions of tons of potatoes and syrup at dirt-cheap wholesale prices from agricultural conglomerates, then resells them to franchisee branches at a marked-up rate. Franchises have zero choice. They become captive customers for the parent company's exclusive supply chain. So who is the prime suspect? Who is truly pocketing billions in profit from the fast food machine? It's not the store manager standing behind the register, and it's certainly not the line worker flipping burgers in a hot kitchen. The prime suspect is franchise real estate and supply chain arbitrage. Financially speaking, Giant fast food conglomerates are not in the restaurant business. They are real estate management and financial investment firms disguised as burger joints. A $2 beef burger or a bag of fries is essentially a marketing pamphlet with calories. The food serves merely as bait to attract consumers and generate gross sales for the store. And from those gross sales, the financial engine extracts land rent, royalty fees, and supply markups, channeling pure cash straight into the parent company's vault. To prove this finding, let's open the public disclosures of the most famous case study in business history, McDonald's Corporation. McDonald's legendary former CFO, Harry J. Sonborn, once bluntly admitted to investors, "Technically, we're not in the food business. We are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell 15-cent hamburgers is because they are the greatest producer of revenue from which our tenants can pay us our rent." According to public SEC filings, over 93% of McDonald's locations worldwide are operated by independent franchisees. The parent company holds tens of billions of dollars in accumulated real estate, making it one of the largest commercial property owners on earth. The vast majority of the parent company's net profit doesn't come from selling burgers. It comes from predictable rent payments and royalty fees collected every month. To give you a clear picture of the sheer power gap in this model, let's place a hypothetical branch, Fast Burger X, into our financial lab. Note, these are simulated figures designed to illustrate economic logic, not exact data from a specific company. Assume branch X generates $2,000 a year in gross sales. Scenario A, best case scenario, the perfect money printer. The franchisee sells plenty of food, bringing in $2 million. After ingredient costs, payroll, utilities, and paying the parent company, they pocket roughly $100,000 in net profit, a modest 5% margin. Meanwhile, the parent company collects $200,000 in fixed rent, $100,000 in 5% royalty fees, and $50,000 in supply markups. Total income for the parent company, $350,000 with virtually zero operating overhead. Scenario B, inflation crisis, risk pushed to the bottom. Now, imagine beef prices and labor costs surge due to inflation. Store revenue drops to $5,100,000 a year. The franchisee faces sky-high costs and shrinking sales. After covering expenses, they end up at a net loss of -$50, zeros in a year. The parent company? They still collect their full $200,000 in rent, plus $75,000 in royalty fees on $1.5 million revenue. Total income for the parent company, $275,000. Even when the individual franchise owner is drained and facing bankruptcy, the parent company still pockets hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if that branch goes under completely, the parent company simply reclaims that prime real estate lot and resells the franchise rights to the next eager investor dreaming of owning a successful fast food store. Case file number 09 on the fast food industry is officially closed. Next time you stand at the counter holding a cheap burger, remember, giant fast food conglomerates don't make billions by selling food to you. They make billions by renting land and selling contracts to the people frying your potatoes. If you want to keep following the hidden money trails behind everyday businesses, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Follow the money, and the truth will follow. See you in the next case.